Hi everyone, it's Karen and I'm back to share a project that I've created. Designer for AngeldreamCraftsKim on Etsy. And I just want to let you all know that Kim's store is back open and everything is all organized with the shipping. You can check with the store to see all the updates regarding that. And I will leave links to the shop in the description box below, and I will leave links to all the very talented designers that are creating beautiful and inspiring projects with the supplies from AngeldreamCraftsKim on Etsy. I was inspired by a designer that I saw on YouTube that was creating these pockets from coffee filters. And I sort of took it a step further and I created some with coffee filters, and then I thought, what else can I use? And I had some really pretty tissue paper, and so I made some with the tissue paper, doing the same thing really. Because you can get tissue paper and coffee filters so cheaply at like $1 store, they're really inexpensive, and then you can just have fun with the, get yourself some laces and trims from AngeldreamCraftsKim. And because you're using small amounts, your laces will go a long ways. And on so many projects that I've shared lately, the projects are those that your laces can really go a long ways. And that's a wonderful thing when you're investing in some beautiful laces from Kim's shop. And I know she's getting in a bunch of new things into the shop. So if you don't see anything there right now that you are excited about, just wait a little bit and keep an eye on the store, because things are going to be changing, I think, very soon. These are my makes, and I'm gonna also show you how I put them together. It's a little pocket that are created with a round coffee filter and or a round piece of tissue paper that you've cut out, and then you embellish them with your beautiful laces and appliques. And of course I've used some different digitals and stickers and things that I have in my stash. And you make these pretty things, which could then be attached down onto a page in a journal, and then also be used as a tuck spot, anything else behind. Or these would be gorgeous to send out in Happy Mail. They can be made quite flat, or you can use just embellishments that are really flat so you don't run into any postal issues. And just super cute because you can fill the back pocket with your little card and whatnot, and then put some extra little goodies in the front. So this one, I've used this beautiful piece of lace on the side here, and from Kim's shop, another piece here, and then this is one of her netted laces that I cut this little bit out of, and then this was a ribbon that was from her shop, and then the little heart here is from another lace, and this little flower is from another one. And and this piece in the back with all the sequins on is one of her piece from one of her fabrics that she had. And some of these might still be available in the shop, so go over and have a look. I'll share the other ones with you in a second, but what I want to do is show you how you construct them. Because then as you're looking at them, when I'm showing you the ones that I've put together, you'll understand it better because it's just so simple. And I will, if I didn't mention it before, I'll leave a link to the girl that inspired me as well. There's lots of different videos on YouTube with people making things with coffee filters. I just happened to come across this one, and that was my inspiration, so I'll link it below. So you have a round coffee filter. These ones were sent to me in some Happy Mail from Jacqueline. Hi, Jacqueline. And I've had them for a long time, and she obviously did some coffee staining and some dyeing on them, and I wanted to use what was in my stash. That is a big goal for me this year, is to use up my stash, and I've reorganized it all, between Christmas and now, and I've got myself ready to use it up. So it really doesn't matter what your base color is, even though this has got a bit of green on it. That's what I use for all of these, and you don't really even see much of it. It depends on how you decorate them. And you can stamp on this too. Coffee filters are quite strong, and so you can scrunch them all up. Probably what she did do initially with these was she ironed them, because I know they come with the pleats in them, but you can just iron them out flat. And then, like I did, I even scrunch it up, and they're really really nice to work with. The girl that I saw the inspiration video, she folded it up and then folded it in to make the pocket. And then she did one with the pocket on the outside. This, if you fold it up like this and have this piece in here, it catches on everything you put in this pocket. So if you're going to do this method, make sure that you fold this up where you want it and you glue it down. So put your glue on there, whatever glue is your glue of choice. I used like liquid glue, and I used, to decorate, I used my hot glue gun. And then fold it up. And so you'll have the pocket at the back, and then you can attach it just here and have another pocket here. And then if you want to add a little pocket in the front, you could add that with, just like I did with this one. I put a piece of ribbon on the front, so that made another pocket on the front. You can also make the pocket on the front by just, and then you don't have that hassle of having to glue that down, is just leave this out at the bottom and fold it up and have it this way. And if this is too high, then just cut that off or fold it under so that it's not as, sticking up as high. I don't worry about that. I look at it and then I decide after I get my laces on it. So that is the simple fold that it is. And you would just end up gluing this on the sides here and here. And you would glue, and depending on how you're using this, a lot of mine, like this one has the little pocket on the bottom with the ribbon. This one, you can see the swoop comes down. That's this right here. And I've only attached it way down at the bottom here, in here. Not up higher, because I wanted to have extra room to tuck more things in. So it all depends on how you are going to fill these as to how you want to glue them. So you that's one thing you kind of have to plan out ahead of time. And this one, there's that lace there. This is the topper part of another lace that had dangles hanging down. And like I said, I never throw anything away. So this became this. This underneath here is a napkin that I adhered onto the coffee filter. And it adhered on just the same as putting napkin on anything. So it added that little bit of scripty thing. You could also stamp on them with stamps if you have that. There's another gorgeous piece of lace from Kim's shop on this pocket. And then I tucked those two, just a couple of little cards in there. This one's hummingbirds, and I've got a couple little cute little fairy cards in here. And then these ones are at the back. And when you pull those out, you can see I added another piece of lace at the top here, which is one of Kim's beautiful flat laces. These are one of my favorite laces. And I just fussy cut out that flower and basically tucked that in there. And it doesn't even go all the way down. There's still a little bit of the napkin shows there, but it's not, you don't have to cover every bit of not the napkin, the coffee filter. You don't have to cover every bit of it. You're going to see some of it, and that's fine. And that, I can see there, I tucked the lace in there, but I didn't add a little bit of glue in there to make sure that it stayed down. So of course it's a little bit loose, so let's just add a little bit of glue. And what I do when I'm gluing with my hot glue gun is I make sure it's not going through to the underneath. I have hands of steel, so I just put my hands in there. It's not a big deal. But if you are not used to working with hot glue, or you like to work with hot glue but your hands are not used to it, then just I find using the little silicone spatulas are just so useful. You put that in there. After you put your glue in, just put that in there in between, and then just press that down so that that lace is adhered. And I don't even waste my lace and go all the way down inside. I just go down to where it's hidden behind the pocket and then make sure it's glued down. Because then I only, this much more of my lace is still in my stash to use for other things. And then you just fill them like I did with this one. Where did everything go? Here it is. So beautiful little fairy card, a little journaling card I created and just did some fussy cuts on there. And then just an extra little piece of paper in the back, and that all tucks in there in the back pocket. And then these two little bits tuck in here. And this goes down into this pocket on the front here that I created with this piece of lace that's attached onto the bit that I folded up. So on this one, when I folded this up, that's where I attached this white piece of lace. I brought this down this way. So this one, I folded this up inside. So that's how I got this look. So there's so many different little ways that you can, that you can fold them. You can fold this up to the outside. You can fold it to the inside. Make sure you glue it down, like I said, so it doesn't get in your way. And then you can also glue it or have it so that this is up and this is over. So your tuck spot is kind of in behind here. And it just gives them all a little bit different look. This one, this whole front piece is covered with a piece of lace from Kim's shop that I cut like an applique. So this beautiful big flower in the leaves becomes a tuck spot right in the front here. And so these little things are tucked in behind there. And then you have beautiful piece of lace from her shop on here. And I cut out some extra little flowers from the lace and added them down the side. There's another little piece of that pretty lace there. And then these are more little pieces of ephemera tucked in here. And then you've got your big pocket at the back. And in this one, I have put a large fussy cut flower in the back. So that's glued onto the back of your coffee filter. And then this is just a little envelope that's got some goodies in it. And that just tucks back in there. You can fold them this size, which I just showed you, and you can see this one has been folded a lot smaller. So it depends on what you're putting in them, and I would suggest that you kind of think about that. I'll just show you here. I have one that I'm just working on, and I'll just show you how I do that. I lay everything out, and so I'm going to take it backwards. So I'm going to take this off of here and these off. And I'm going to go back to my filter, my coffee filter. And I knew that I wanted to put these little Valentines in here. These are just some little digitals of some vintage Valentines. So I started with those inside of there so that I knew exactly how much to fold over the edges of my coffee filter. And then I decided how far down I wanted them to go, because you can decide all that now. And I wanted that to stick out a bit. I'm going to put a bit of lace or something in there, and then this folds up. So what will happen now is the next step is to decide, how do I want to fill this? Do I want to leave this so that it's plain in the front? Am I going to put a pocket on the bottom? And am I going to tuck anything else in? So just for example, I'm not really sure how I'm going to finish this one off, but if, for example, you want to do a tuck in, you want to make sure you think about how you want to do that. Do you want it to go with this piece showing a bit in the front? Do you want it to just go in your pocket at the bottom? Because that determines how you're going to glue this together. Because you don't want to put glue in here and glue this shut if you want to use and tuck behind like that. So you just have to think about how you want them to go together. And then after that, it's super easy. So for this one, I am going to leave it so that there's a tuck spot here. And then of course, I'm going to do a pocket in the front too. So I might do like something little in the front there. And I don't know exactly. I haven't decided completely. When it comes to the ephemera, I hadn't made all the decisions. So then you want to decide, how do I want to finish the front? And how I do that is I choose my 2 pieces of lace, or one, you decide. I mean, if you like to have the same lace on both sides, then certainly you can put the same piece on both sides. I kind of like it doing them with different ones. Like here, this one's with the white and has the ecru color there. This one I did the same. I did the polka dot trim. This is a ruffled trim that's in the shop, and I just cut the ruffle part off and used it as a flat trim. And then I added, this is another trim from Kim's shop. I just added the little hearts along the top. And the same ruffled trim I used as the topper for the tag. This is another trim that I used a little piece off of, and the flower the same. And then this little flower went along with this trim. And you can see this trim here, which is a vintagey type one that Kim had in the shop. I used the flower matching up there. So you can do it the same on each side if you like that. This I was going with a very neutral look, so I wanted it quite the same. This one I did very different. I did the white trim in the background here on this side, and I did it down to on top of the pocket, because this one I wasn't saving the pocket. This one I completely covered the front, so the pocket was covered over with the trims. And then I brought this trim, this beautiful leaf trim from Kim's shop. I put that on next and brought that all the way down. And I just left it so that it was open here. I wanted to be able to still tuck something in there. So I didn't glue it all the way up to here, or it would have just left it as a back pocket only. And then I added this trim, which is from Kim's shop. This is such a pretty trim, this peachy pink one. I added little pieces of that there, and there. This is a little flower from one of her trims, and I put one of my little centers in it. And this was a little bird's nest I had, and I added this cute little fairy in there that's in it, sleeping in a teacup. And then I just added some butterflies, and then I added 2 bookmarks in this one, and then I put a little scrappy pad in the back too. This one, so that I made the bookmark with the flowers sticking out the top there, and then I did the second bookmark so that it fit in here and sticks out. So as you're building it, you kind of have to decide what you're going to put in it and how you want them to sit when they're actually in. And otherwise the back is the same. Oh, this one, I forgot that I did that actually. I should take that little scrappy book out of there. This one, just for fun and as a little surprise, I put a little bird. It was a napkin, and I just glued that in the back of the coffee filter there. And she peeks out. So it's one of those things that I'd forgotten about it even, but it would be a real surprise when the person is taking this apart and looking at it, because they're going to find those little surprises. And I think that's really fun. So that's how that one all went together. And so for this one, we'll go back to this one again now. So I'm going to put this piece of lace on this side. I'm going to have this side overlap here. So this piece of lace I've cut and is ready to go on this side. And as I mentioned before, I usually just take the pieces of lace just into the pocket. They don't have to go all the way down. If you want to do them all the way down, that's fine too. But I just don't like to waste my laces, because even little bits of lace come into play. And I don't worry about this right now. I'm going to trim that afterwards. I just want to get my laces down. So what I do then, I'll just take one off and do one at a time. It may be easier. So what I do is I take my lace and I use my hot glue gun, and I put my spatula underneath there. And I just put a little bit of glue in that area. And stick my fingers in it as I do, because I do not feel it. I've completely lost the sensation of hot glue on my fingertips. So don't do as I do. Grab yourself another silicone spatula and use that. And I'm just basically squeezing out the tiniest amount of glue. I put a little bit on the solid parts of the lace. I don't like to glue where all the holes are, because I see it and I don't really like the look of that. So I keep my gluing minimal. You don't need a lot of glue on here. And make sure that it's not going through. If you use a lot of glue, there's a greater chance that it's going to go through to the other side. Just keep that in mind. Now we can worry about cutting. This is the only part I'm going to cut right now, because I want it to stay. And I leave those in there just because it gives me some firmness, and I'm not worried that I'm going to glue on them, because I know I won't. But if you are, then have something that you can use that has some firmness that can fit in there, and it kind of keeps everything in the right place where you want it. And then I'm going to trim this off on the edge. I could have probably put that on a little more carefully and saved that edge and just left it on there, but I wasn't watching, so that's what happens, and that's okay. It's not a big deal. Let's just trim it up here and make it nice and even. Okay, sorry about that bang. And so that's one side. Now this side's going to come over. So that's that side finished. Now let's take our other little piece and let's put it on here like I wanted it. And this one I'm going to try and be careful. I'm going to glue down the side first because I really like this pretty scalloped edge. And I do want it to stay. I don't want to have to cut it off. So if I glue it first, then it won't shift around. And I'll be more likely to keep it where I want it. I'm just going to move this down. The other thing that you can use, I have one here somewhere, is these little silicone mats. I bought this one. It's like a little hot mat, and it was, you know, double, and I cut it in half. You can buy those at the dollar store too, and you can put that in there and then glue away, and you don't need to worry then about, you know, moving the spatula around. And you might find that easier. And then you can use your spatula to press your lace down. So that's probably a smarter way to do it. And then again, I'm going to just trim away the bits that overhang over the edge of the filter, coffee filter. And there you've got your two pieces done. And this folds up. And I'm going to put my pocket on. And for this one, I'm just going to do this pretty piece of cotton lace. I think it's so pretty. I'm going to center it. This is sort of the center here. And I'm going to center that to put it on because I want to add some little flowers as well. So the other thing you can do now is you can glue. Let's get on camera, Karen. There we go. We can glue up these two sides of your pocket. Put them in place. And then you're going to add this onto it. And okay. And then let's just flip that over and trim off your excess. So there you go. It's starting to take shape. Here's one that I finished with the applique at the bottom and then my own little butterfly. But that created the pocket at the bottom. That one doesn't have the pocket at the bottom, neither does this one. This one, again, I did very similar to this one. This one, the swoop, I let it come down this side. This time I let it come down on this side. And then just have the tuck in behind. And this one, I made the pocket on the front with the ribbon, which is what I'm doing now. So it basically is similar to this one. So you've got your, and you can still tuck in here, and then you're going to be able to tuck in behind here. So make sure when you're gluing your lace on here that you do a good job, because if you leave this little bit of filter showing, again, every time you try and put something in that pocket, it's going to get stuck on that. So just take a little bit of care, fold that back, and make sure that anywhere where the coffee filter is, that you, if you can hear my dog, she's snoring in the background, little tiny snores, but even I heard it, so you might have been able to hear it too. I have this beautiful, that leaf trim. Kim had it in two different pink colors, a lighter one and the brighter pink one. So pretty, and I just love the leaf trims because they're so versatile. to add little pops of color, especially this one. I just love it. So all I did was I just cut some little pieces of it, and I'm just going to add those in there like that. I like how it picks up on the pink in the Valentine card. And the other thing I wanted to do was I cut out a heart from one of the laces. Lots of times the laces, when you look at them, you will see leaves and hearts and other things, and so it's always fun to cut those out and just trim them up a bit, and they look so pretty. And so now I think, where would be a good spot to put that? And really what you have to do again is decide what you're putting in there. So if I'm going this way into here, let's say, and even if I don't use this particular piece of ephemera, I'm going to slide it in that way, and then I want to have a little spot in the front for the pocket. If I want to put the heart on there, it has to go on this side so that it's not in the way or hidden behind your ephemera. We put something in the bottom as well. This is the wrong color, but you can put little things like this in the bottom. You can put it sitting up in the bottom. If it was the right color, it probably would look really cute. I'm going to put embellishment up here. Think about where you're going to put it. You can see that this one, I put the little cards in, and then I wanted a little bit something up in that corner, so I did that. If there's another one that I did anything up high. This one, I used the perfume bottle on there, and then there was an empty spot here, so I put that little bow on there. So that one's a work in progress, and we'll see where that goes. And I just wanted to show you one other one that I was working on and how it's come. And this is one done with some tissue paper. And I had two different tissue papers, so I folded this one ready to go as well. And all I did was take the coffee filter and I used it as my template and cut out a circle. If you don't have one of the coffee filters and you don't want to do that, but you have tissue paper, this is about 7.5 inches in diameter across, or it's about the size of a side plate, you know, or a small dinner plate. And then just fold it up like I showed you. It folds exactly the same. The same with this one. I had this really pretty cream colored tissue paper with green leaves on it. It's really pretty too. I just really like it. And so with this one, I wanted to put the purple in there. So I used the biggest piece of ephemera in that grouping, and I put it in there, and then I folded it. And I've put the sides on, so this is all done already. The same as I showed with the lace, but this one I chose the fabric, and I put the same on both sides. And then this got folded up, and I will glue that in place, but I wanted to be able to show you. I put this flat lace from Kim's shop on the front of the pocket there. You can still see the tissue paper through. And then on the inside, you probably caught a glimpse of that when I was folding it, but on the inside, I've put the same lace here. This is a piece of it here with one of the little flowers, and then I've added a second trim from Kim's shop, one of the little smaller decorative type ones that are a bit thinner. I added that to the top. This one just needs glue here and glue here, and that will glue up the pocket. This is open here, so there's room for other things to go in, and I'll just finish it off here and show you how I'm going to finish this one. So in the pocket goes the nice big journaling card, a couple of tickets, another little smaller journaling card, and then tucked in here I have a little tag, and I've put a cute little topper on it. This is a piece of Kim's lace. Where is it? I have a pile of laces beside me here that I've been using as I work through making these. And here it is. It's this one. So I just took it and I folded it like that. And I left the bigger pearl up at the top, and there was a little one in the front here, but I didn't want that one there, so I took it off. There was none at the back, just the way the spacing of the pearls works. And then I added a couple of pieces of my favorite dangle trim, from the shop, and one of the little flowers from one of the creamy laces. And that I'm going to tuck in here. So that's going in behind this part here. And then I've got a couple of things to go in the pocket. I'm going to tuck those in the pocket. And then I took 2 of the tickets, a little stamp, and a little butterfly, and I stapled them together with my tiny attacher, and I just glued on the word spring, and I'm going to put that right here in the front as well, on the front of the pocket. That's another way that you can finish off the pockets, is just with, you don't even have to use just lace, you can add more ephemera as well, and that's a more permanent part of the pocket at the front. And look at how pretty that one turned out. I love that. That's probably one of my favorite ones. So tissue paper, like I said, this one's going to get done up, and it's going to be fun to do too. And again, I could fold it with that in and this over like that. So again, I have that little bit different pocket and different look that gives you this look. Or I also did it one other time. I did it with this one, but I did it this way. If you want the pocket to come down this side like this, you'd fold this up, put this one over, and this one over like that. So now you have a partial pocket there, a tuck spot in here, and then your bigger pocket in the back. But when you decorate, it will look different because you decorate all the way down with your trims coming down, as opposed to when you do this style, you get this type of look, and your pocket comes up over both of them. So you can see they're going to look different. So it's just a way to have fun and play with it, and to come out with some different designs and see what you like, and try your tissue paper and try your coffee filters. And remember that you can also put napkin on your coffee filters. You can also dye them with your coffee, and you can also dye them with dyes, and you can also print, you can also stamp on them too. Real simple, whatever color ink you like, and you know, whatever stamp you have, and you can stamp on them as well. So you can get a variety of looks, and they're so much fun to do. And I think that they will look so cute in a journal, or so cute as happy mail, sending them out to someone. So I encourage you to grab some supplies, go shopping at AngeldreamCraftsKim and get yourself some laces and trims and that kind of thing, and have yourself some fun. And I will talk to you all soon. Bye for now.